If you've ever wondered why some men effortlessly connect with women while others struggle, the truth is simple. Women don't respond to words, they respond to psychology, confidence, emotional safety, presence. These aren't buzzwords, they're biological triggers. And the wild part, most men use the exact opposite behaviors without even realizing it. Today, I'm going to reveal the psychological patterns women naturally respond to. Not manipulation, not games, but the deep, instinctive cues that shape attraction, comfort, and emotional connection. These are the rules that make communication easier, relationships healthier, and your presence unforgettable. And once you understand them, you'll see something amazing happen. Interactions stop feeling confusing and start feeling effortless. This is the psychology women won't tell you, but every man needs to hear. Women subconsciously scan for one thing first: emotional safety. This doesn't mean weakness or softness, it means consistency, calmness, and predictability. When a man reacts with anger, panic, or neediness, her nervous system immediately shifts into protection mode. But when you speak slowly, stay grounded, listen fully, and respond instead of reacting, she relaxes. Her guard lowers. She feels understood, not judged. Women respond to men whose energy feels stable. It triggers trust. Emotional safety also means you aren't trying to force a result. You aren't chasing validation. You aren't demanding answers instantly. You simply show up with clarity and calm intention. The secret? Women don't fall for the loudest man. They fall for the one who makes their nervous system feel at peace. This is psychology, not charm. Once you master this, everything changes. Communication becomes easier, attraction becomes natural, and arguments become rare. Women instinctively gravitate toward men who know where they're going. Not because they need someone to lead them, but because direction signals stability. A man who has purpose radiates confidence without saying a word. You don't need a perfect life plan, just a sense of forward motion. When a man knows his goals, his standards, his boundaries, she feels his energy before he even speaks. Direction also means emotional direction. You know what you want. You communicate it without fear. You don't beg, convince, or chase. A man with direction doesn't ask, "What should I do?" He says, "Here's what works for me." This subtle shift creates instant attraction because women respond to certainty. Not arrogance, certainty. Your life path is part of your masculine framework. When you have direction, she naturally feels attraction. Not for you, but for the future she senses in you. Confidence doesn't mean being dominant, flashy, or aggressive. True confidence is quiet. It's the calmness in your voice, the unshaken posture, the ability to sit in silence without discomfort. Women notice subtle details: how you breathe when you speak, whether your hands are steady, if your eye contact is grounded or searching. Calm confidence signals emotional maturity, a powerful psychological cue. It shows you aren't seeking approval, you aren't competing, you simply exist with certainty. Women respond to that because it makes you feel dependable. Loud confidence is performance, but calm confidence is embodied. It's the reason why the man who says little often gets more attention than the one who talks the most. You don't need to prove anything. Just show up fully present. Presence is confidence, and confidence is magnetism. Emotional intelligence is the most underrated attraction trigger. Women respond instantly to a man who can identify emotions, his and her, without judgment. This means you can communicate frustration without exploding. You can admit confusion without defensiveness. You can listen without turning everything into a debate. Women don't want perfection, they want awareness. When a man names what he feels, instead of hiding behind anger or silence, she feels safe. When he acknowledges her emotions without mocking them, She feels respected. The biggest mistake men make. Thinking emotional intelligence makes them weak. It does the opposite. It makes you unshakable. Because a man who controls his inner world automatically controls his outer world, women respond strongly to that kind of leadership, not dominance, but emotional clarity. This attracts mature women, emotionally stable women, and women seeking real connection. Most men think saying yes to everything makes them more likable. It doesn't. Women respond to men who have boundaries, not walls, but self respect. A boundary says, this is what I accept, this is what I don't. And I don't fear losing someone by honoring myself. Boundaries make you attractive because they signal self worth. A man without boundaries looks lost. A man with boundaries looks centered. Women feel drawn to men who protect their peace. It shows maturity, confidence, and discipline. When you have boundaries, you become selective, and selectiveness is attractive. You aren't available to everyone. You aren't always waiting. You aren't easily controlled by emotion. Women respond to this instantly because it communicates strength without aggression. Your boundaries create the container where real connection grows. Most men think attraction comes from big gestures, intense emotions, or sudden bursts of effort. But psychologically, women don't trust intensity. They trust consistency. Consistency signals emotional stability, routine, safety, and reliability, things a woman's nervous system is biologically wired to detect. It's not about texting her all day, it's about showing up when you say you will. It's not about dramatic affection, it's about calm reliability. Women respond to small, repeated actions far more than loud promises. Intensity burns hot and dies fast. Consistency builds trust and deepens attraction. And here's the secret: the men who stay consistent without needing attention become unforgettable because a woman reads consistency as emotional maturity. She reads it as leadership. She reads it as a man who won't vanish when things get hard. Consistency is not boring, it's grounding. And women respond to it more than any compliment or charm. When your actions match your words, she feels something rare: security. And security is the root of connection. Most men unintentionally destroy attraction by trying to speed it up. They want clarity immediately, validation immediately, commitment immediately. But women respond deeply to men who move slowly, not because they're uninterested, but because they're confident enough not to rush. When you aren't desperate for answers, she feels free. Psychologically, freedom increases attraction. When you stop rushing the outcome, you also stop acting from fear. Your energy changes, your presence expands. You give her space to choose you willingly, not out of pressure. Taking things slowly shows you're grounded, secure, and not ruled by emotion. It sends a powerful message: I want this, but I don't need it to feel whole. Men who move slowly become magnetic. Women respond because the pace feels safe, respectful, and emotionally calm. Take your time. It's confidence in motion. Attraction is often built in the smallest details, not in loud declarations. Women respond strongly to subtle communication because their minds naturally pick up micro behaviors. It's your tone, your pacing, your posture, how slowly you blink, the calmness in your breath, the micro smile at the right moment. Subtlety feels sophisticated, it feels mature, it feels intentional. When a man communicates with nuance instead of performance, women feel it instantly. You don't need to flirt loudly. A single grounded look says more than 100 compliments. You don't need to impress. Your presence does the work. Subtle communication taps into a woman's intuitive psychology. She feels drawn to you without knowing why. It creates that "I can't explain it, but something about him feels different" effect. Subtlety is masculine elegance, and women respond to it powerful ways. Attraction rises when a man knows his standards and stays loyal to them. Even when he wants someone, standards signal strength. They signal discipline. They signal self-worth. Women respond to this instantly because it shows you don't operate from emptiness. A man with standards does not. Accept disrespect. Beg for someone's attention. Change his identity to be liked. Break his boundaries to avoid losing someone. A man with standards does. Walk away from chaos. Choose peace over drama. Expect emotional maturity. Stay aligned with who he wants to be. This behavior is psychologically rare, and rare is attractive. Women respect men who respect themselves. Standards make you stand out because they show leadership over your own life. And a woman who values herself will respond strongly to a man who values his own worth. In modern psychology, one of the strongest attraction triggers for women is emotional freedom. When a man tries to control the connection, checks in constantly, demands answers, fears silence, he signals insecurity. But when you allow space, when you let moments breathe, when you let things unfold naturally, she feels safe. Why? Because you're not forcing anything. You're not managing her reactions. You're not chasing certainty. You trust the connection enough to relax into it. Women respond to this deeply because it shows internal strength. It says you're confident without control. You're interested without being clingy. You're connected without being dependent. This behavior is incredibly attractive because it feels emotionally mature and grounded. Let the connection flow, not because you're passive, but because you're secure. And women respond to that security more than anything else.